just get right to it. So I'm 20 years old now, and when I was 16, September 11th, 2009. I know it's kind of a bad date, but I was a junior in high school, and I played at Santa Monica High School. I played football, and it was a Friday night. It was the first game of the season, and we had been playing a pretty good game the whole time, and it was a pretty close game. There was only about 5 or 6 minutes left in the game, and I was a linebacker, so I was playing defense, and the quarterback had been running to the outside and trying to get in the end zone, and basically I just went down to try to hit his legs, and that's why you always hear these days, keep your head up, and when it comes to football, because it's gotten pretty dangerous now, but I went head first and just hit him in kind of the hip and leg area, and just from there I blacked out, and I mean, it's just something that I don't really remember too much because I just had gone unconscious, but I remember waking up, kind of coming back and to my senses, and just laying on my stomach on the field, and all I can remember is I just felt like I'd been hit by a train because the impact was just so hard, and I couldn't move anything. I was trying to get up, and I woke up to just like all the doctors and trainers around me, and I was struggling to breathe, and that when I think back to that, I think about a motivational speaker who I listen to and watch his videos named Eric Thomas, and he has this quote, this saying that he came up with, and it's, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And every time I think about how bad I want to get on my feet again and get my life back, I just think about how bad I wanted to breathe on the field because I had been losing oxygen from breaking my neck when I was laying there. And all I wanted to do was just get a deep breath of air because I was struggling to breathe. And so whenever I think back at that, I just think about how bad I wanted to breathe, and that's how bad I want to be successful now. So that's a pretty, that's a saying that I kind of keep with my life and like to share with people. And so I've been taken, the paramedics came, I had been taken to the hospital, to UCLA Medical Center, and they had run a bunch of tests and found that I broke the C5 vertebrae in my neck. And so they had been deciding what to do, and basically this was the first encounter I had with knowing that God puts people in your life for a reason. And this is one of the many angels that I've had come into my life since this happened. Because there was a doctor there named Dr. Holly who came out, and he's never at this hospital on a Friday night. And he just happened to be there this night, and it was about 10:30, 11 o'clock. And he had just finished a 9-hour surgery. And he heard a football player come in with a broken neck, and he wanted to come see me and find out more about what happened to me. And so he came through and he examined me and everything, and he told my mom that he was going to do my surgery because he had played football in high school, and the team I got hurt against, he hated that team in high school because he had lost the championship to them. So he just told my mom that he wanted to help me, and so he said he was going to run across the street and get an In-N-Out burger, and then he'll come back and do my surgery because it was going to be another 9-hour surgery for him. And this was right that moment when my mom had told me this story, because I don't remember it too much. I just knew that was an angel that was brought into my life, because if he wasn't there that night, I would have had to wait probably till the next day or for a couple of days to have my surgery. So I would not be doing as good as I am right now if it wasn't for him. And so he had to go in and put a titanium plate in my neck and screws. and just put it all back together. And after that, he came in with some pretty positive news that I didn't completely sever my spinal cord. It was just an incomplete break. So there's a lot of hope for me that I'd be able to regain a lot of function back. But when I was in the hospital, I had breathing tubes in my throat, so I couldn't talk or eat or anything. And this was kind of the first of many obstacles I had through this journey, is I developed a really bad case of pneumonia. And this was only about 2 weeks after I had the surgery and the whole injury. And so this was a pretty serious thing because I was developing air pockets on my lungs, which could kill you pretty fast, and it could be really dangerous. So these nurses, they had to do all they could, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be doing I probably wouldn't be here right now, because they really helped me throughout this whole case. So basically what I had to do was, I couldn't move. I mean, when I got hurt, I couldn't move anything on my body. And after the surgery, I started to move my right arm a little, and then my left arm, just a little bit. I couldn't really do too much on my own. But what they had to do for the pneumonia is turn me on my stomach for about 2 hours at a time, a couple times a day, so that I can just drain out all the phlegm and everything in my lungs. So basically just lay there and kind of like throw up. And that was probably one of the most difficult times, because I had to lay there with my face flat, and my face would get all swollen, and I'd get all this spit on me and everything. So that was pretty a sad time, because it was so tough, especially for my mom. And they found that this wasn't really working too much, so they basically had to put me in a coma for a few days, so that they can put me on my stomach for about 4 hours at a time, like 4 times a day. And I don't remember much of that, because I was asleep the whole time, but that made it a little easier, because it was, when I was awake doing it, it was just really hard for me. So basically this started to work, and the pneumonia started to clear up a little bit, my lungs started to clear up, and then it was time for me to get my breathing tube out, and they had said that I need a tracheotomy put in my neck. I wouldn't be able to breathe on my own. And this was kind of the first time where I had been told a lot of negative things. I mean, there was other people who told my mom she'll have to quit her job, take care of me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we've kind of developed the mindset that you don't really listen to people even. I mean, I have the utmost respect for doctors and everything, but sometimes you just gotta know what you're capable of, and not listen to what other people say that you can and can't do. Because what I've learned is there's only 2 people that know you better than anyone. Number 1 is yourself. I mean, you know yourself better than anyone does. And number 2 is God. I mean, He's created us, no one. I mean, my mom, she thinks that she knows me better than I know myself. She knows me pretty well, but no one knows you better than yourself and God, and that's what I've come to find out. Because I'd been told I need to be taken care of. I wouldn't be able to breathe. I was told I had no chance of ever walking again. And I just kind of brushed that off and just know what I'm capable of doing. And so I had the breathing tube out, and right away I just started breathing on my own, and they were all just so surprised that I was able to do that. And so I didn't need a tracheotomy, and it was a pretty interesting time when I got my tube out, because there was the nurses who were there, and then there was the respiratory therapist who was taking it out, and my mom was there. And when they had pulled the tube out, I was kind of confused because I had felt someone with hands on my head. And I was like, Mom, that night I was able to talk and stuff, and I was like, Mom, who was behind me holding my head? And she said, no one. And that's one of the experiences we've had with knowing that there's people, not people, but there's a kind of good spirits there that are there to help you and are there for you and around you. So that's that was a pretty cool thing that I felt, and my mom's felt some stuff with like her dad who's passed away and everything. So we really started to believe that there's good spirits around that are here to help and help you get through things. And so after spending about a month in the intensive care unit, I was transferred to a rehab, and that was at Children's Hospital. And that was because I was only 16, and when we got there, it was just kind of like a bunch of kids. And I was a big football player. I was 6 feet, 185 when I got hurt, and even though I lost 40 pounds when I got hurt because I couldn't eat or anything, but I was still kind of just this, I was a big kid, so I just kind of thought like, what are these people gonna like help me with and everything? But I'm glad I went there because I really needed a lot of help with like nursing and everything, and they were really good to me there. But this is where I was there, and I mean, about 6 weeks after being there, I had spent about 3 months there. About a month or so after being there, the doctor had called me and my mom in, and this is the doctor who told me he believes I have no chance I'll ever walk on my own again. And that was just, I was just kind of like, I respect what you're saying, you're a doctor and everything, but I'm going to prove you wrong. And because I knew myself, I knew what I'm capable of doing, and I just knew that I have always had this belief that I told my mom that I know I'll walk again, no matter how long it takes. And so, after that, I didn't really talk to the guy too much because he was kind of brought me down a little bit, but I just knew I couldn't give up, and I was just going to keep pushing as hard as I could to be able to walk again. So I just did what I had to do with this rehab, and once I was discharged from there, I was a little bit stronger. I was able to move my arms a little bit more, but I had gone for outpatient therapy to Northridge Medical Center, and we heard really good things about this place and everything. So we went to check it out, and I remember when me and my mom were there, we were waiting for the therapist to come in and kind of like evaluate and everything. Now comes this little, she's probably about 5'1", 5'2" Filipino lady, and I was just like, what? And she's like, oh, Cody, blah, 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 and she was my therapist, and I was just like, Mom, what is this lady gonna do to help me walking? And I don't see what she can do. And this was another angel that was brought into my life because she worked my butt off more than my football coaches did. And within 6 months of going to see her and swimming with her in a heated pool and doing a lot of exercise with her, she had me up standing on a standing frame. And once I was doing that, I just knew that I could make a lot more progress if I stuck with it. And so I continued to go. I would go about 3-4 times a week, and there'd be times where I'd be kind of doing the same thing every day and kind of just thinking like, oh, when am I going to do something else? And those are the times that kind of get you discouraged because you don't think you're going to be doing any more than what you're doing. But I learned I just got to stick through it. And there's another guy who I've kind of like looked up to, and his name's Giovanni Ruffin, and he's a football player who he went to college and he wasn't drafted, so he's still trying to make it to the NFL, and he's come up with this motto take no days off, and basically he just never takes a day off. He just works and has this goal of making it to the NFL. And even though we're on two completely different paths, we're still trying to take the same route to get there. And so this motto, take no days off, is something I live by, because there's days I wake up and I don't want to go to therapy, I don't want to work out, but I know that if I don't go and I miss a day, that's just an extra day that I could be spending in a wheelchair when I could get up on my feet sooner than that. I just wanted to get up as soon as possible, so I just try to never miss a day. And he also has his motto, how bad do you want it? And so I just think to myself, how bad do I want it? And I just think that I want it as bad as I wanted to breathe. So those three concepts kind of just fit together, and those are just three mottos I live by: that take no days off, how bad you want it, and when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And those are just three things I live by that keep me going and keep me from giving up, because it's just my main goal is to just get up and walk again and prove a lot of people wrong that doubted me. So it's cool to have inspirational people like that, and that's what I want to try to do for other people. And so I continue to go to therapy and continue to work out. And about 8 months to a year after I was working at Northridge with this lady, she decided that she thought I could start to take steps on my own. So she got a walker and kind of got these leg braces to put up from my ankles all the way up to about my thigh area. And she just wanted to kind of try it out and see if I could stand on my own on a walker. So with her help and with another assistant's help, she got me up standing, and then from then I started taking about 2 to 3 steps on my own, and then the next week I take about 10, and about a year or two later I got all the way up to taking about 150 steps. And I mean, there were weeks where I would take about 20 steps, and the next week I would only take 10. And those were the times where I got really discouraged, but I just knew that I had to keep going and just not give up, because I just knew that even no matter how hard something is, and even though it seems like you're not going to be able to achieve your goals, or even though it seems like this is it and this is all it's going to be, it never is. So there's a lot more that you can do, because I believe that nothing is impossible, because every day you see people breaking records, you see people doing stuff that all the experts and everything said were impossible to do. So that's kind of what keeps me going, because I mean, not a lot of people recover from breaking their neck like this, but I want to be one of those people that do recover, that other people can look up to. I was doing all this therapy and working out and everything. I just continued to push as hard as I could. And when I was 18, we had gotten good news that my dad, he was in prison since I was about 4 or 5 years old, but I had stayed really close to him, and him and my mom had stayed together and everything. And we got like really great news that he was going to be coming home, and I was so happy, because it was kind of hard for me to work out at home. Like whenever I didn't have therapy, I tried to work out at home as best as I could, but it was a little hard because it was just me, my mom, and my aunt at the time. So it was a little difficult, but I just did as much as I could. But I knew he's a big guy. He's a big Samoan guy, so I knew this would be great, because he was excited. He had all this stuff in planned for me and everything. So he had come home, and He, I mean, it was great. We worked out for the first like 2-3 months. He had done everything for me. We went to therapy, and I mean, it seemed like this was finally the thing I needed that would push me to the extra step to help me get on my feet faster, even faster than I thought. And then just when I thought that life couldn't get any harder, it did, because he ended up just basically, I don't like saying the word abandoned, but basically just leaving me and my mom. And that was the toughest thing for me, because when I got hurt, I had best friends, I had a girlfriend at the time and stuff like that, and they had kind of walked out of my life, and it was that was hard to deal with. I mean, but I understood people have their own lives and everything, and I had, once my friends kind of walked out, I didn't really talk so much. I got new friends who I didn't even know before I got hurt, because I went back to high school for my senior year, and I had met new people and new friends, and I graduated high school, and that was a great accomplishment for me. And so, I mean, I just kind of thought to myself, like, I guess people will walk out of your life for a reason, or everything happens for a reason. And even though my friends walked out of my life, I had gotten even better friends who would kind of just come over and, oh, we're going to a party, we're going to take you. So they would just kind of put me in their car, and it's kind of hard for me to go places, but these guys, they were all football players, so it was great. And I mean, I guess there was a reason that happened, because I got even better friends, and then I had met my girlfriend now that I have, and if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be as positive and as happy as I am, because I mean, she keeps me emotionally stable and mentally stable, and I mean, she does a lot for me physically, so there's a reason for that, because now I have a wonderful person with me who I wouldn't be doing as well as I am without her. And so I've always believed that even though people walk in your life, and these hard times reveal who's really there for you, and people can always be replaced, but when it happened, when the whole situation happened with my dad, I knew there's not really replacing a parent, because you have one dad and one mom. But what I've realized is my mom, she's replaced him, because she's become my mom and my dad, and she's been there for me since I got hurt, and she's still here for me. So these times really do reveal who's really there for you. She's one of the main reasons I will never want to give up, because my goal now, one of my goals besides being on my feet and stuff, is being able to be successful so I can get back to my mom and my aunt and my girlfriend and my family that's all helped me, and my friends who have been there for me. So I believe that there is a reason stuff happens, and God puts people in your life and takes people out of your life, and there's good reason for that, because you really know who's really has your back, and those people are the ones that I want to get back to and everything. And so that whole situation was really depressing with me, and I just didn't really think after my dad left and how emotionally hard it was for me, because I mean, I was going through this physically, kind of the hardest thing someone could go through physically, and to have that happen, I mean, I was just kind of all over the place. It kind of discouraged me. I didn't really, there was times I didn't really want to get better anymore, and I just kind of thought I'd live like this, because, I mean, it was just depressing for me. So I kind of just had to push through it and think about, if I do give up, all the people I'll be letting down, because I have my group of family members that were pushing for me, doing so much for me that if I would give up, then I'd be giving up on them too. And there were so many people out there rooting for me to get better and praying for me and everything. So I just thought if I give up, then I'm giving up on so many people, and so many people died. So I just had to develop a mindset to stay strong and just achieve that one goal that I had set for myself. And so I just had to kind of fight through the emotional, the mental pain, and just keep going and keep pushing as hard as I could. And so I'd gone back to therapy, and this time, I mean, that kind of gave me extra motivation and extra fuel to push even harder. And so I just kind of thought to myself that all the losses in my life, all the obstacles, the struggle, I just use as motivation to push myself even harder. So I kept walking with the walker, and then I started at a place walking on a treadmill connected to a harness. And it's called locomotor training, which is one of the best things that you can do with a spinal cord injury. That it's one of the best ways to get better. And then when I'd been doing this, me and my mom, we had gotten hooked up with this doctor who was doing a study, and he's basically doing a study to try to find a cure for spinal cord injuries. Because I mean, there's people out there who they break their necks and they can't move from the neck down, and that's how they are the rest of their lives basically. And they're just bedridden, and it's a really sad situation because it's just not any way someone wants to live their life, especially kids my age, because there's so many high school football players now getting hurt out there. And I was lucky and blessed enough to regain all this function, and have all these people back come in my life that have helped me so much throughout this. But there's other people out there who aren't as lucky as I got, or aren't as blessed. So this doctor, he's been trying to find like his cure and study it. I mean, it's such. I've gone through so many hard times and negative times, but anytime something negative has happened to me, I've gotten something positive back in return happen. And I mean, getting hooked up with this study that I'm in, I'm basically one of the first neck injuries that they're doing this on, and it's basically electric stimulation to get the nerves connected back from your brain to all your body parts and back to your legs and everything. And so I've been doing this whole training and trial thing for about 2.5 years now. And they discovered that just doing this can regain function and full function in my hands and in my legs. And I just believe that there's just a reason this happened, because I hear a lot of things about bad things happening to good people and stuff like that, but I just always think that God never gives you anything you can't handle. And even though this has been the hardest time of my life, it's something that I've been able to handle because, I mean, my friends, they say, they're just like, if this happened to me, I mean, I would not be able to do it. And they're just like, and they say, it sucks that it happened to me, but I'm the one person all my friends and everyone knows can get through this. And if there's one person that can get through it, they say it's me. So it's something that I kind of use in a positive and a good way, because even though it's so negative and so hard that it's happened, I can use it to inspire other people and help other people, because doing this electric stimulation, if it works on me and if I'm able to get on my feet and everything, then it can work on so many other people. And that's what I think of not only is it helping me, but it's helping other people. And through this whole journey that I've been through, I've discovered kind of what I want to do with my life. And basically, the one thing I want to do is just help other people. And I want to do it by giving speeches like this, motivating and inspiring other people. And because I've been so blessed in my life to have people that have come help me and motivate me and do so many great things for me, that I just want to go out and do the same for other people. Amen. Because I can relate to a lot of young kids out here who have been betrayed by a parent or a family member, and I just want to be able to help them and tell them that, I mean, there's a lot of harder things to go through in life, and that it's not the end of the world, and it's just not something that you should use as a negative thing. You should try to use it as a positive, because no matter how bad something is, there's always something good that's going to come out of it. And I'm still working to achieving my goal. I'm still walking on a treadmill. I'm still doing this study that I hope can help me, and they're pretty optimistic that it's going to be able to help me and help regain a lot of function back. And once it does happen, because I know it will, then I can use this whole journey and this whole situation I've been through to help other people and get other people hooked up with it, and hopefully travel around the world and give motivational speeches like this to other people, and not only people going through physical pain, but people going through emotional pain, people going through a hard time, because my message doesn't just relate to people with a disability or with a hard time in their life. It can relate to anyone, and it can relate to someone trying to make a sports team, trying to get good grades in school, because everything we do in life, we just have to push as hard as we can and just never give up. And no matter how bad things seem, something good is always going to come out of it. And that's just something I want to let people know and just help keep them motivated. So I just hope today that I motivated and inspired everyone here